Y'all see the title of this video, so let's start with the narratives. And before you comment on the video, watch the entire video all the way through instead of directly making a claim based off the title of the video. But as you can see, this is about Jey Uso. Nepotism is not the reason why he won the Royal Rumble. I really don't get that argument. And if you want to bring up nepotism for Jey Uso, let's do the same thing for David Sammartino wrestling at WrestleMania 1. I guarantee most of y'all don't even know who that is. We all know who Bruno Sammartino is, having a 7-year world title reign. It's something we don't want to see in this era. But his son David Sammartino was at WrestleMania 1 for what reason? Because he wasn't that great of a wrestler. Nobody really knows who that is. If you want to talk about nepotism, why isn't that the same argument for Randy Orton? His dad was in the WWE. Randy Orton is great, yes, but if you're going to bring up nepotism for one person, why not do it for everybody else? Charlotte is another one that's in the same category as Jey Uso, where it's just nepotism. Nepo baby this, Nepo baby that. Like Charlotte said, she's Nepo queen, if you want to do that. And it's not like Charlotte Flair is some bad wrestler. She's definitely a top 3 women's wrestler of all time. You could argue her and Mercedes Moné, her and Becky Lynch, but I don't think anybody else has an argument over Charlotte all the time. She's great in the ring. She's solid on the mic, and she's just good overall. Like, Charlotte is great. She's one of the greatest of all time. Should she have 14 world championship reigns? No, but just didn't. But if she had 10 or 9, that wouldn't be surprising. She would still be one of the greatest ever, even without the 14 reigns. Because most of the reigns were short, but even without those, she's still a great wrestler. So I don't get this, oh, Charlotte's only here because of nepotism. That's kind of stupid. But back to Jey Uso. Let's look at his accomplishments. Won the Intercontinental Championship, held it for 2 weeks, or something like that. It wasn't long. Won Tag Team Championships with Jimmy 9 times. Won it once with Cody. Won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal Memorial in 2021. And just won this Royal Rumble this year. So let's think back to Jey Uso's debut with his brother Jimmy. They came into WWE in 2010. Then their first tag team title win came in 2014 against the New Age Outlaws. So if it was nepotism with Jey Uso, and before you said, well, Vince and Triple H, Vince was in control. Vince also gave Jey Uso a solid push, which we'll get into later. But Jimmy and Jey, their first tag team title win came against the New Age Outlaws in 2014. They were not on pay-per-views until they started feuding with the New Day around 2016, 2017. They were on kickoff shows before that. So to say that the Usos were, like, you arguing nepotism for Jey Uso, even Jimmy, you have to look back to their careers and look at how they got to where they're at now. From 2010 to 2014, they won 1 tag team championship. And it's because they were continually getting better year by year. And that's why they were able to win those titles in 2014. But people still weren't that big on the Usos. Like, they were just a solid team, but not everybody knew who they was. Then the feud with the New Day started 2016, and that lasted for a while. They could revisit it at some point. They had revisited it in some promos and stuff. But the Usos and New Day, one of the greatest tag team feuds in WWE history. The 2 of the greatest tag teams ever. And it's based off of their story and what they were able to do. Because Jey Uso does not have the most tag team titles of all time. I'm pretty sure the New Day have more tag team titles than the Usos do anyways. So they told great stories with the Uso Penitentiary, with them being the heels, the New Day being the faces. That was one of the greatest tag team feuds. It was really what kept SmackDown alive. And like, SmackDown was great in 2016, 2017 because of the Usos and New Day and what they were able to do. Them having the tag team Hell in a Cell match, which was great. Jey Uso has always been recognized for being one of the greatest tag team wrestlers ever. Now and they really were able to get, the New Day is what helped them get over and get to the point where they were at. The Usos versus the Bar, that was fun. So even them helping out Roman Reigns from time to time when they weren't really doing anything after the Shield had broke up, made sense. Now let's move on to 2020. Roman Reigns returns, he wins the championship, wins the Undisputed Championship. So who was the first feud that Roman Reigns had his title reign? Jey Uso. And Vince McMahon was still in charge of WWE at this time. So Vince was like, I want to start this story off right with Roman. I want to make this one want to make this a great story, so I'm going to start it with Jey Uso. That's what Vince McMahon did. And obviously Jey Uso is not winning, but it played in. But having no crowd, having fans on the screen, that made for a great story with basically him controlling the family. This is what established him as the head of the table. And that's why we called him that. That's why we acknowledged Roman Reigns as the tribal chief, because of what he did in those first 2 months of his title reign, having Jey win the fatal 4-way match to become the #1 contender to face Roman for the championship, and Jey cutting good promos. So y'all forget that Jey Uso, he was cutting good promos before the Yeet stuff, before the Yeet gimmick came along. Basically saying, why can't I be the head of the table? He want to be, when he walks into, walks home, when he walks into the family at the reunions and stuff, he don't want to be caught, he don't want to hear which one is shooting. Y'all forget about them promos that Jey was cutting in that build up to him facing Roman. And we all know who Jey is now. We all know who Jimmy is. It's no more which one is he. So Jey being able to do that and having good matches with Roman at Clash Champions, that first match, obviously Roman ended up winning because it wouldn't have made sense if he lost. Then they had the second match in the Hell in a Cell where his brother got involved, and the only reason why he quit is because he was seeing his brother get destroyed by Roman, and he wanted to put an end to all this. Then that's when Jey finally fell in line. And in 2021, Jey Uso, around WrestleMania time, that SmackDown before, won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal Memorial. You know why? Because he was able to get over. He was getting over during that time. It would have made sense for him to get a singles push and get a mid-card championship then during 2020, 2021. Because he was great. He was looking good as a single star. He was having good matches. That Fatal 4-Way, it was like him, Baron Corbin, and a few other people that was solid. Even the Survivor Series match, him being the last one in and trying to fall in line, get the win for SmackDown, and it just played well into the story of Roman Reigns just always wanting to be in control. That's like Jey Uso was able to get over because of the story. You can't get over because of nepotism. That doesn't make sense. So fast forward to when Jimmy is finally back and they're both able to go after the tag titles, win the tag team championships, and have one of the greatest tag team title reigns ever, holding it for 622 days, him and Jimmy, and them telling good stories with the Bloodline, with the War Games match. Him and Sami Zayn told a great story. And we see when Sami Zayn tried to be the honorary Uso originally, Jey wasn't too big on it. Jimmy, he was the one that was cool with Sami Zayn. Solo, he was okay with it. Then it took until Survivor Series for Sami Zayn to take out Kevin Owens and to let, I think Jey got the pin in that match. I don't remember for sure. But that is when, and after the Bloodline won that match, that's when Jey Uso finally embraced Sami Zayn. That's when they became cool after that. So then you get to the Royal Rumble in 2023, the match with Roman and Kevin Owens, their last one-on-one match. Excuse me. And then Sami Zayn, after the match, he turns on Roman Reigns because Kevin Owens is his best friend at the end of the day. So seeing him get beat like that hurt Sami Zayn. And then that's Jimmy Uso was the one to kick him immediately. Jey was the one conflicted. You didn't know what Jey Uso wanted to do. So then that's why he left. And people was wondering, what is Jey going to do? When they had the segment where it looked like Jey was going to turn on Jimmy and team with Sami, listen to that pop. You can find it on YouTube. He was over then. He was over throughout this entire Bloodline thing. When he said he don't give a damn about who the tribal chief is, look at the reaction he got after that. It's not just because of this Yeet stuff that he was able to get over. It's not because of nepotism he was able to get over. Those are dumb internet narratives. So look at that, and then the match the story that the Bloodline told with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, then that leading to the downfall of the Bloodline, the Usos losing at WrestleMania to Kevin and Sami. That made sense. It was a great main event match. Charlotte and Rhea was the better match, but this had the better story, which is why it had the main event. So I'm not mad at that. Now fast forward when the Usos after the Usos lost that rematch, they wanted to go after the titles once again. Roman was like, nah, me and Solo gonna go after these titles, and that's when you could see the seeds planted of Jey and Jimmy potentially turning on Roman and Solo. Then it led to that. Back now, like I was saying, Jimmy and Jey, once they turned on Roman, that got a loud pop. And obviously it made sense for the story. Then they had the match at Money in the Bank when Jey ended up pinning Roman to get another shot at the championship. And people wanted Jey Uso to win that title. People in the crowd, people on the internet, not gonna say everybody, but a lot of people wanted and thought Jey Uso was gonna be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns for that title. Because if Cody Rhodes wasn't able to do it at WrestleMania, what made more sense than Jey Uso becoming champion? And he don't have to hold it for that long. Just based off the story, he could hold it for 2 or 3 months. Because Jey was never supposed to get to this point of being a world champion. Because he's supposed to fall in line. But now he wants another shot at the title, and rightfully so. He got it. He deserved it, and he earned it. Then he had a match at SummerSlam. That was a good match. I don't know why we pretend like just because Jey had this one bad match with his brother that he's some bad wrestler. He isn't. This match with him and Roman was great. All three of their matches were. And then the match was ruined by who? Jimmy Uso. That still does not make sense at all. I do not care what you say. That was probably the dumbest decision you could make. If you're going to have Jey lose, just make him lose clean. Because Jimmy ruining the match really don't make sense because he don't want Jey to become corrupt. He could have held the title for 1 month. Roman Reigns didn't, that still doesn't make sense. But then, after that, then you have Jey Uso quitting SmackDown after his brother turned on him and Jimmy falling back in line for whatever reason. That's when Jey, he goes over to Raw. Cody Rhodes brings him back over. He was not over because of the Yeet thing. He was able to get himself over with good promos and good matches with Sammy and Kevin Owens, with the Bloodline story in general. That's how he got over. Not because he said this old catchphrase that the Usos have been saying, mind you, since it's been a thing. The Usos have always been saying this. They just didn't say it a lot, but they've definitely been saying it, and they've always used it in their time in WWE since the term came out. They just use it in a different way that the internet doesn't. So then you move on to this year. You're going into the Royal Rumble. You're thinking Jey probably isn't winning this. The odds were super low. You probably could have won like $1 million if you put 5 on him winning. Jey Uso wins the Royal Rumble. But y'all want a surprise, right? We want a surprise. Oh, but when Jey Uso wins, it's a problem. That's the surprise we don't like. But his story with Gunther is he hasn't been able to overcome the odds. He hasn't been able to get over the hump. He's 0-3 against Gunther. And that story is actually a good story. This is him winning the Royal Rumble. It's his one last chance to go after Gunther and win a world championship. If he doesn't win, I think that's kind of a waste. But Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. He had a good showing. He eliminated John Cena, and that started John Cena's heel turn. So Jey Uso definitely got over. I think he deserved it because y'all want surprises. Y'all want the most over people to get it. Y'all got to remember, TKO is in charge. Ever since TKO took over, things have looked a lot differently. Why do you think the prices have went up? Because TKO is in charge. They look at it as a business. Is nepotism the reason why the entire crowd is chanting Yeet when he come out there? No, he was able to get himself over with the good promos he cut in the Bloodline. Then he made the Yeet his catchphrase, and the entire crowd is saying it. Overseas, in the U.S. crowds, he got it super over. Is nepotism the reason why he's selling out merch? He's selling more merch than Cody Rhodes, who's the top star of the company? Does that make sense to you? Nepotism is the reason why he's in this spot? No. He's put on good matches, and I already made the video about Jey Uso not being a bad wrestler. He's one of the greatest tag team wrestlers ever. He's solid, and he's a solid single star. He's had good matches. His matches with Gunther have not been bad. The story is he can't get over the hump, and this is one last chance. This was his guaranteed shot to do it. And Jey Uso beating Gunther makes sense for the story. Like he was never supposed to get to this point. He was never supposed to be a world championship guy. He's not going to hold the title for a year. I don't know why we act like this is going to be, y'all act like this is suicide seeing Jey Uso win a world title. Like he's going to hold it for 3 or 4 months. And then he'll be back in the tag team division like him. Just because you win a world championship don't necessarily make you a main eventer. Damian Priest won a world championship, but is he necessarily a main eventer? He's really more of a mid-card guy. He's in main event programs, but Damian Priest is a mid-card talent. He's going to be in more prominent mid-card roles more than main event roles, but he held the title for a few months. Could he get it again in the future? Sure. But Jey winning the world championship is not that bad, and it's the second world championship, the second most important championship, not the most important. This is the Raw belt. It's not the one that's on SmackDown, the WWE championship. So Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble was a good business decision, and it makes sense. Y'all want to, Like, y'all want to target Jey Uso but aren't looking at the booking of WWE, what TKO and Triple H are doing when they could have made Gunther's World Championship reign better. Don't target Jey Uso for him working his ass off and getting to this point. Like, Jey Uso got himself over. You can't get over because of nepotism. Do you think Charlotte's still in WWE because of nepotism? No, she's actually good in the ring. If Charlotte Flair was a bad wrestler, she still wouldn't be here. Like, it's lots of stories of people that don't make it, but y'all never want to point that out. Like, y'all just want to I just want to make it popular to hate on certain people, hating on Charlotte Flair, hating on Jey Uso. But why? For no reason. This guy's gonna hold a world title for 4 months after he deserved it. He earned it. The Bloodline story is what got him over. Him being one of the greatest tag teams ever. Him being solid on the mic. Him cutting good promos. The promo he cut last week. Why was it bad? It wasn't. It was because the fans were chanting Yeet the entire time. And y'all say, oh, Jey Uso makes this entire gimmick to Yeet. No, he doesn't. The fans are what did that. He says the catchphrase, and when he tries to cut good promos, the fans always ruin it by chanting Yeet the entire time. That is not on Jey Uso. But at the end of the day, Jey Uso earned that Royal Rumble win. He deserves to be at WrestleMania. I'll be happy to see him win the world title this upcoming weekend. Nepotism cannot get you over. Nepotism does not get you merch sales. Nepotism does not get you good matches with the likes of Gunther, Damian Priest, Roman Reigns, etc. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment what you thought. Peace.